Hey you guys, it's me Adam Deshawn. I'm here with another video. So this video is going to be discussing how to get your first nursing job as a new grad. This is something I've been asked a few times on my YouTube videos and on my Instagram inbox. So I'm just going to make a whole video addressing different ways you can get a job as a new grad, your first nursing job as a new grad. So the first piece of advice I'd give you guys is start looking before graduation. Typically, you should start looking for a nursing job in your last semester of nursing school. This may vary depending on different programs you're in, but typically the last semester of nursing school, you should start looking for a job. Because I don't know if they do this so much anymore. I know back when I first got out of LPN school, I was able to work as a nurse, as a graduate nurse. From what I've heard, they don't really do that anymore, which is when they, you could work and do patient care as a newly graduated nurse before you actually get licensed. Don't know if they really do that much anymore, but if they do, that is an option. Represent well in your clinical setting. So a lot of you guys, if you're in nursing school, you are in some form of clinical. You've been in clinical, whether it be LPN, RN, BSN, you are doing some type of clinical. Represent yourself well. There's a large percentage of nurses that work at their clinical sites where they clinical during nursing school. So represent yourself well. Be nice to everybody. Be willing to learn. You know, you want to leave a good taste in everybody's mouth at your clinical site, be it the staff nurses and management. And I'll tell you why that you really want to be nice to the staff nurse. Well, I can go ahead and talk about it now. The reason why I say be nice to the staff nurses on your clinical site is because there's this new thing that hospitals are doing. They're called peer interviews. And I was peer interviewed when I got the job at the hospital. So what a peer interview is that managers do not interview you at all. Like, you may talk to the managers for a little bit, but the interviewing process is initiated and done by the floor staff, which is how I got the job at the hospital. No manager interviewed me. I was interviewed strictly by the nurses and the CNAs or techs on the floor. So that's why I say be nice, because they will be the ones determining whether you get the job or not. Network. You know, if you have any chance to go to any other departments in the hospital, be nice to everybody. When I can't stress networking and being good to people at your clinical site enough. Can't stress that enough. You always, because you never know where your next job will be coming from. Don't burn any bridges. Be nice to everybody. Nursing, regardless of what city you live in, nursing is a small community. Over time, people typically know who you are, or at least know your face, and they know how you make them feel. They know your personality. So be nice to everybody, especially on your clinical site. Nurse residency programs. So a lot of hospitals now are doing nurse residency programs. These things are put in place for new graduate nurses to be able to find jobs and get into those roles. So what a nurse residency program is just a really extended orientation, in my opinion. These typically tend to vary depending on what hospital you are working at. But the basis of the program is they get in a group of new graduate nurses. They license now. I think you have to be licensed, have passed the NCLEX, but they get you in. You start a extended orientation and you start working on different floors throughout the hospital, depending on what department you want to work in. At the end of it's typically a year. At the end of the year, the managers on that particular you get to choose which department you want to work in, and the managers get to choose whether they will accept you or not. So this is a good way for new nurses who have no experience or no clinical direct patient care experience to get jobs. So seek out hospitals. If you're finding that a lot of places are wanting you to have experience, seek out nurse residency programs. Because they are really advantageous to the new graduate nurse. Resume. Of course, have a resume ready. Have a resume up to date. Have it ready. One. I could go in. How to do a good resume is a whole nother video, but a few tips I will give you is don't put irrelevant information on your resume. Try to have your resume. Try to have your resume down to one page. That's something I had to learn because I wanted to put all this fancy stuff on my resume. Try to get your resume down to one page. They don't care that you worked at Target for 2 years. They don't care if you worked at Walmart. They don't care. If it's not pertinent to the job you are applying for, don't put it on the resume because they don't care. They don't care. And have that ready. Have that if you go to a job interview. Even though you've sent in a resume, have one on hand so people can look through it. Have a resume. Keep it updated. Number 5. Consider becoming a CNA before you graduate. Okay, so the reason why I say this, a lot of nursing programs will offer for you to sit for the CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant boards before you graduate nursing school. So a good way to get to kind of get into the hospital of your choice is consider becoming a Certified Nursing Assistant while you're in nursing school, getting a job as a CNA at the hospital of your choice, and kind of maneuver your way in. That's not what I did, but I was a CNA at the nursing home. I became a nurse at, and it helped me just really transition in really, really well, really fast. So just consider that. Check with your nursing program. Some of them will allow you to sit for the CNA boards before you graduate nursing school. Consider getting a job as a CNA. Good practice, makes you more comfortable with patient care. Just consider this, and it just makes it easier to, especially if you have no prior healthcare experience. This gives you that experience that way you can kind of maneuver your way into the job. Apply anywhere. Apply everywhere. Apply. Even if this is another tip. Even if let's say you're on Indeed and you see a job that's good for that you like, and you may or may not have all of the qualifications that they want you to have. Let's say they want you to be a nurse for a year and you just got out of school. Apply anyway. Send in your resume anyway. What's the worst that can happen? They don't respond to it. What's the worst that can happen? Apply anywhere you would like to work. Apply anywhere and apply everywhere. You want to have options. You want to weigh your options. Be flexible. Be flexible. Okay, so one misconception, people think they get out of nursing school and immediately go into the field of nursing that they want to go into, which is highly unlikely, especially if you don't have any prior experience. Be flexible. If you want to work in the NICU, just accept the fact that you may have to work on a med-surg floor or anywhere else before you get to the NICU. Or if you want to work in the ICU, you want to work in surgery, you want to work in the ER, be willing to work where you need to work to get to where you want. Very rarely are you going to come right out of nursing school and go straight to the ER, go straight to the ICU, go straight to the NICU, go straight to go straight to surgery. It typically does not happen that way. So be flexible, be willing to take what job you can get to get what job you want. And that may involve being outside the hospital. Nursing, long-term care facilities, people underestimate long-term care facilities and how much clinical experience that gives you. When I was working in long-term care, I learned, before I moved into the hospital, I was at the nursing home for all those years, and it made me so smart. And I underestimated how much my long-term care experience carried me in the hospital, and it absolutely did. I learned how to prioritize. I learned a lot of stuff about patient prioritization and how to juggle multiple things and how to just take general care of a patient. So don't underestimate long-term care facilities. If a long-term care facility is the only thing that's willing to accept you at the time, take it. You will learn a lot. You will learn a lot, and don't be concerned about losing skills. At the long-term care facility, I was starting IVs. I was giving IV antibiotics. I was handling PIC lines, mid lines. We were doing a lot of stuff. Trach care, peg care. New hip fractures. You learn a lot of skills at the nursing home. So don't underestimate the nursing home or any long-term facility, any long-term care facility, or any skilled nursing facility. That's all I have for you guys. This video is just at 10 minutes, so I'm doing pretty good. Follow me on Instagram if you have not already done so, at Adam Deshawn. I'll put the information below. Also, those of you guys who've been tuning in to me know that I've started this small wreath making business on the side. The Instagram for my wreath making business is it's on Instagram. It's also on Facebook as well, but Instagram is where you'll see more of my activity. The Instagram for the wreaths are A_priceless_design. That's on Instagram, and the business is called Priceless Design because my last name is Price. So I've been making been making beautiful wreaths. So if you want a wreath, holler at me. Shipping is available. Just let me know. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.